Hello, everybody, and welcome to Unique Fam, the podcast. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. I'm literally sitting in my living room with Lisa, our human design expert for Unique Design by Unique Fam. Hi.
Hi.
I'm so excited. I know. I'm so happy that we're here right now. Okay, we're literally sitting at my kitchen island with the fireplace behind us. And we are going to talk about human design today.
My favorite thing to talk about.
Is I could already share a story um about the other day when I asked a question
Oh my
about human design. So before we even introduce yourselves, I'm going to go straight into this question, or ourselves. I'm going to go straight into this story. So I am planning a movement residency. So obviously, I'm the founder of Unique Femme, and I am a certified life coach. I help women in business scale without burnout and by honoring their unique gifts and energy. And but I'm also a professional dancer and movement facilitator. So I am running a residency, and part of the dance that we'll have, one of the dances is going to be on human design. Lisa is really lit up
I'm
about
so
this
excited.
idea.
Yeah.
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 And so I messaged her because I want to know what, the dancers, what their human design was. And so I sent her a message, inboxed her, and I got so many back, and they were amazing.
I had to stop myself. I really did.
They were blown away. Like they were freaking out because they didn't really know what human design was, and I think that's one of my favorite things about human design is because they're like, oh my gosh, everything makes sense.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing about human design?
Oh boy. My favorite thing about human design is how it gets us to see who we truly are and honor that.
Mm-hmm.
And so many times, and I've said this before, I know, but um, people say to me, like, I don't understand why I do this thing this way. And it's like, well, what if you were meant to do it that way?
Yeah.
And then when they can see that and honor that, oh, I get goosebumps.
Yeah.
Like the example of one of the dancers and how her process is through trial and error.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That's how she shares her gifts. And that's how people learn from her. Not only is she doing it her way, but people are watching going, oh, yeah, okay. People are learning through that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that was such a cool moment. Okay, first of all, if you don't know your human design, you can go online, just look up human design. There's tons of sites where you can go find out your human design for free.
Yeah.
Um, in this case, I think it was one of her profiles, right? Is that right?
It was her profile. So it's her how.
Mm-hmm.
How she learns, how she moves through life, and how she shares her gifts.
Mm-hmm. And it was
Yeah.
specifically around how she does choreography because
And
one of in her how she shares her gifts was like trial and error,
yeah.
right? Like you have to
Yeah.
try something, fail,
Mhm.
um, and and for her that's how she makes choreography. And a lot of times the choreographer will come with like a set choreography, they can imagine it before, but her process is very much like I need to be in the studio and I need to be trying this
Yeah.
and seeing if it works. And so sometimes that could take a little bit more time. And I think she was kind of second guessing her process for one of our shows. And I mean, she's brilliant. She is a brilliant, brilliant choreographer. Like, wow, she's so talented. And so when she heard this, she became emotional. She was like, oh my gosh, like it's giving me permission to honor my creative process. And
Yeah.
how powerful, because that's in fact, like you're saying, how she's going to be sharing her gifts.
Yeah. It's for her, it's realizing there actually is no such thing as failure.
Mm-hmm.
It's just learning. Someone has to do it. Someone has to be brave enough to go out, try things. Maybe they don't work out. And that's who she is.
I love that.
Isn't it?
I know, it was so good. Okay, so we've kind of jumped forward a little bit. Let's introduce you fully here. So, if you can introduce yourself and explain to us how you actually got into human design, because we're going to be doing a bunch of podcasts about human design and how it'll allow you to honor your unique gifts so you can rise, so you can achieve unlimited success and wealth. And here we don't mean wealth in terms of just money. Wealth is freedom pretty much within yourself. So let's go into kind of your story and
Okay.
you.
Sure. So I have 25 years in the corporate world.
Mhm.
I got a degree in actuarial science and statistics.
Fun.
Yep. And that led me into the corporate world where I've learned a lot. And I've learned a lot about interacting with people. I've learned a lot about myself. The biggest thing the biggest part of the journey for me is coming to being able to be who I am in that environment. And that's what human design has done for me. What led me to human design? I've always had this thing where I feel like I need to be this person in the corporate world. And I actually have a vision of that person, like all in black and like kind of like,
Mm.
you know, um, and I was told things, especially early on in my career, like you need to work a lot of hours to succeed. You need to talk more in meetings or you'll never be a good leader, which human design will show you that you can lead in a multitude of ways and that we're all unique and we're all unique in how we share our gifts. Um, I have three beautiful children.
Mhm.
Coming to human design has really helped me see them in a different parent in a different way.
Yeah.
Like, because I can honor who they are rather than try to control what's happening in the house.
Mhm.
And what you know?
Yeah, so I also have 2 kiddos, right? And, both of mine are manifesting generators, and, um, I was kinda laughing the other day because my son was doing the Zoomies a little bit, like, he was kind of
Mm,
running around, he's got the generator in him, and I
mhm,
was like, "Man, you're me, I'm full
mhm,
generator, so I also do the Zoomies
mhm.
still as an adult." But yeah, it allows us to give our kids permission to be who they are and to also, discover their own gifts and exactly and honor how they share them as well. And,
Yes,
something that's been helpful with my kids is even just knowing that they're manifesting generators. Like even if you just know that,
that's yeah.
it's helpful
It,
because of
that is
no wonder they have so many different
yeah.
interests
Hmm.
and sometimes they change and
Yeah.
they become like really really interested in one thing and then it
Hmm.
switches and I'm like
Hmm.
okay and but honoring that has actually like especially for my daughter now that she's older now by trying different things and she's discovered kind of her top three
Hmm. Hmm.
but yeah they love to do a multitude of things.
And I love what you just said. Like that's her process to discovering what she wants to do
Yeah.
ultimately.
Yeah, rather than forcing her to, like, stick to something,
Hmm.
was she for instance, I'm a dancer, so, like, I put her in dance, and it wasn't her thing, and she liked it, but she wanted to try a bunch of other things, and I was like,
Hmm.
"Okay, let's try it all.
Hmm.
Let's just do it all."
Yeah.
Um, and they're still like that, and I love it. One day she's dressing up in one way, another day she's dressing up another way, like, she's
Hmm.
just yeah, it's been fun to watch her, even getting to know her profile. Um, she's a natural born leader.
Mm.
So that made so much sense to
Hmm.
me because she does best when she's leading
Hmm.
in a group. And so now I'm like, okay, even when she's, starting to volunteer, things like that, like she needs leadership roles
Yeah.
where she gets to kind of facilitate something.
Hmm.
And she's always been like that. So it's been really helpful for us.
Yeah. It's changed the way I look at everything, really. I have got a manifesting generator, a generator, and a projector.
Yeah, wow.
And so my projector is surrounded by generators or manifesting generators. And so I I look back and I see now how he's always sort of been expected to keep up.
Hmm.
And he would just get so tired.
Yeah.
And when I learned he was a projector, like in that moment, it changed everything. When he's left to his own devices, he will naturally it's so cool to watch. Like kids are playing outside, he'll go outside, he'll be like right in it. He'll come in, go do his own thing, reflect. I don't know, he's um sitting with himself or he's doing his own whatever he's doing, something creative. And then he goes back out again.
Mm. And it's like kids know. Kids know how to honor their
Yeah.
energy.
Hmm. Yeah.
I feel like because it's natural to them, and then they're conditioned, and we kind of put them in this
Hmm.
box, in the school system. And I was an educator for 12 years. Like I know the benefits of the school system. I also see, the what we can continue to work on in the school system in
Hmm.
terms of really allowing our kids to thrive according to their own
Hmm.
needs and that's why differentiation is so important and things like that but um, but yeah, like kids naturally know I need that break. And
Yeah.
we just do it, if we just allow them and create that space for them and just observe. If we just
Oh,
observed our kids
yeah.
rather than kind of stepping
Yeah.
into it.
Yes. Now I know with the generator child, my youngest, he will literally like he'll run up the furniture and, and he used to be like, come on, it's bedtime. I'm like, just let him do it. And the energy will expend itself and then it'll be bedtime.
Beautiful. I love that. I
Love
love
it.
that so much. And this is why we love human design.
This
Okay,
is why we love it. So,
let's go. We've talked a little bit about kid stuff, but let's just go into the five energy types,
okay.
just to give them an idea. And maybe if you could give an example of how to pull this into whether it's their life, their business, in some way. Relationships, yes.
If you know your partner's human design, that also changes everything.
Changes
Right?
everything.
Yeah. How much more we can honor each other.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's start with the manifester.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I always like to caveat that manifester in the context of human design doesn't mean that manifestors only manifest. Okay. It's a different context in human design. We all manifest. So I'll just start with that. Manifestors are about 9% of the population.
Okay.
Okay. And manifestors are here to create movement, to initiate, to act on urges that they have within them to break boundaries. They're the trailblazers.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the scientific reason behind it because it helps me understand it. What makes a manifester is one of their energy centers, which is a motor. So there's 4 motors
Cool.
of the energy centers, is connected through a channel to the throat. And the throat is where we express, communicate, and manifest. And so they have this motor that's like, like, you'll get this urge, okay, and it goes right to the throat so that they can go. So they don't need to wait for permission,
Mm-hmm.
external cues. And that's how we break boundaries
I love
with
that.
manifestors.
I love that so much. One of my
Yeah.
best friends is a manifestor, and I see that, right? Like,
Yeah, you see it?
she is a
Do you have
trail.
an example?
I think it's just she sees her ideas are so brilliant. And I think with us, it was her seeing like this is the way we should be doing this, or or just seeing what like the way forward, like taking the lead in that way.
Yeah.
And me as a generator, I felt like I was the doer though. I was just like, oh my god, and then we could do this. And I didn't get so excited about it, right? But it was her who's kind of leading the direction of it.
Yeah.
It's so hard to almost like explain, but it was just so felt. And I think people naturally just respect her because she's seen as the trailblazer. She just is. They respect what she has to say. There's just this natural, beautiful, not authority, but yeah, there's just this integrity that comes with everything she says is very intentional. I don't know if that's aligned with.
Yeah, I got goosebumps because I'm picturing her. That's totally aligned. And the other thing to know about manifestors, and I don't know if you've noticed this with her, but so they don't have the sacral center, which is our consistent access to energy is not defined in them, meaning that they go in bursts. Their energy goes in bursts. So manifestor might get this idea, pull an all-nighter, and then they need to sleep the next day. So when you know that, like think about in a business, if you're working with a manifestor, one, it's what you said, you just trust if they get an urge, this is what we got to do, you trust it.
Yeah.
One, and two, after they've written out the business plan, you let them disappear.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and you know what? And it was so fun to see, we had our Unique Femme Summit the other day, and Lisa was talking about this, and one of our summit presenters, Marcy, who's the founder of the Art of Alopecia, is a manifester. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, I've known her for a long time. That makes sense because she gets bursts of energy and she goes. And she's such a trailblazer. Like, wow, wow, wow.
Yeah,
she's created such an impact. And just hearing her story when she was then sharing her story, I was like, oh, this makes so much sense, right?
Yeah.
In terms of, she was sharing how she, started presenting in classes about, alopecia and educating, and she would have been the first to do that. Like, it's she's so powerful.
Mhm.
um
Mhm.
and then imagining that she also needs her rest, and how beneficial for her to know that, like, okay, when I feel tired and my generator friend's still
Mhm.
going, like, I know that I need to rest, and giving
Yeah.
yourself
Yeah.
permission to do that. I think
Mhm.
it's really powerful.
Yeah. So I think, like, if we think of it in a business context, like if you're starting a business, you need to set yourself up to allow for all of that.
Yeah.
Allow yourself to put yourself in a position where you can act on your creative urges without asking for permission,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
then disappear after you.
I love that.
That's the first time I think I've said it that way, disappear. But that's what I think of, you know?
Mhm.
It's like, say, at a marketing firm, the sales pitch would be the manifester,
Right.
you know? Go, like, work 4 days, write up the sales pitch, go do the pitch. See you later.
There you go. You have permission, manifester, to disappear when you
Yeah.
need to. 100%. And I have friends who are manifestors who I'm like, oh yeah, they do that. They do that. But
Mhm.
then they probably second guess themselves, like, oh,
Of course. Yeah.
right? Should
Yeah.
I be out? Should I be more active in whatever group? Should I? But it's like, no, you're meant to retract when you need to, and it's honoring
Mm.
that energy that's going to allow you to thrive and
Yeah.
then better share your gifts. So,
Yeah. And if you think about it, the majority of the population are generators and manifesting generators. And so, the other types might be conditioned to think they need to have that sustained energy that
mm,
we have. Right?
yeah, yeah.
No, no.
Oh, I love that. I'm literally gonna go. I'm so inspired right now. I'm gonna go into one of my containers and go into Telegram and tell all my manifestors, hey, if
Yep.
you're not, showing up today because you need a break, this is your invitation. Generators, though, show up. No, I'm just joking. But generators, if it's lighting you up, keep doing your thing. But manifestors, take the break. Take the break. Generators, if this message isn't lighting you up, then move on. Okay, we can still have fun with human design. I love this. All right, so we've got the manifester. Let's
Okay.
go to the next one.
Let's go generator.
Okay.
35% of the population.
Okay.
So as you know,
I'm a generator, so yes.
generators' gift is their boundless energy
Mm,
that comes from the sacral, which they have consistent access to, the sacral center, when they're doing something that lights them up.
mm, I love that.
Yeah.
I feel that so deeply, and I
Mhm.
know that our I don't know if it's our shadow or not in alignment is frustration,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Um, And for me, I felt that. Like, a direct example that I could give is, when I was healing from my concussion and I wasn't able to dance and I wasn't able to do the things that I loved, but the expectation was like, well, then go back to work though and do that. But, heal enough to do that. And then the rest can come back kind of later. And I felt so frustrated and kind of claustrophobic. And I feel like as a generator, that's how I would describe the frustration. It's like you feel almost claustrophobic in whatever life you're living. And so if you're a generator and you're experiencing that, ask yourself what actually lights me up, and can I deeply believe that that can lead me to the life that I want.
Mhm.
um we're so conditioned to believe that, like you said, right, we have this picture of, like, okay, corporate, like, that success is having money in that very
Mhm.
specific way, or
Mhm.
experiencing life in a very specific way, in a very specific job title.
Mhm.
And so, I felt the most successful, honestly, when I was a resource teacher, and I was like, okay, maybe I move up into being a principal or working for the board. That was kind of the goal. And I was like, this is success because I'm doing what everyone tells me is successful. And while that did really light me up, I absolutely loved it. Um, you know, I then started to see that there were other things that light me up and even more, and that I could do, and that actually you can build a life doing those things. And
Mhm.
once you believe that as a generator, then you're like have access to so much energy.
Yes.
Um, does
Yes.
that's my
You,
experience as a generator.
we could just leave it right there. Yeah. I mean, if you think about a generator's aura is very open and enveloping. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it draws in opportunities. And then the sacral is like, okay, I need an energetic outlet.
Right. Yep.
And the sacral's responding, and it's going to tell you, do I have energy to do this or not?
Mhm.
And so if you're doing things that you don't have energy for, you drain the energy because your sacral's like, I don't want to do this.
Right.
And so the more you do what lights you up, the more you draw in, you like your aura is saying to the universe, yeah, bring me more of this.
Mhm.
Um, yeah.
I love that. I love that so much. And it's I see it. I see, like, when I'm doing something that lights me up, dance or, like,
Mm,
talking to clients, like, that's when more comes in.
yeah.
When I'm doing,
Yeah.
like, the behind the scenes stuff and forcing, that's when it stops, like, and then we
Hmm.
experience burnout. So, every time I'm on vacation or doing something that shouldn't be bringing clients in, right?
Hmm.
That's resting, play, joy, like, that's when the clients come in or get emails or offers or
Right.
invitations, and that's where I guess I get to respond.
Yeah. Yeah. And the gift that you're giving to the world is your energy and enthusiasm behind what you're doing.
Mm,
Like, not necessarily like what you're doing, because if you're lit up by it, everyone else around you is gonna be lit up.
mm,
Like, you could literally talk about anything to me, um, that lights you up, and I get excited about it. Like,
mm.
if you're okay, I'm gonna talk to feminine energy, and you're so excited about it, I'm like, okay, I'm on board. If
Yeah,
it's okay, today we're gonna clear some limiting beliefs. I'm like, okay, yep, that's what we're doing because you're just so lit up about it.
yeah.
And that's
Generators
the
get
gift
to go. I
to
love
the
that.
world.
I love that. And have fun. Have fun for a generator to just be like, I'm just gonna do what lights me up,
Yeah.
and that's gonna lead me to creating an impact,
Yeah.
to, and sharing my gifts with the world. But like you actually get to do that. You just try it. Try it for a little
Yeah.
while and see what happens.
It's
It's also the belief behind the fact that I think it's possible, but
I love that you said that. It is all about trying.
mhm.
We can't realistically as humans always be doing what lights us up,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yeah.
So it's just trying the little things.
Mhm.
Your best friend invites you for coffee, but you think you should clean the bathroom. Go for the coffee and see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, and I love you always say this. You always say it's an experiment
It is an
because
experiment.
something that we don't want in terms of any form of coaching or
Mm.
information that we get, we don't want it to box us in. That kind of defeats
No,
the purpose. Your
no.
human design is there to provide you with information
Hmm.
to, you know, help you honor your deepest self
Hmm.
and come back into alignment. But you still get to do all of that in your own way.
Exactly.
And it's always
Yeah.
using discernment in what feels good for you
Hmm.
and using it as a tool for your expansion rather than, and I don't want to say this with any negative energy behind it, but like we don't want to use it as an excuse. We don't
No,
want to use it
no.
as a way of like staying comfortable or things like
Hmm.
that.
Right.
Um, and if I could share something actually that I heard the other day, and I would love your thoughts about this is, because sometimes when we're like, okay, for me as a generator, uh, it's not my authority. I meant to,
Strategy.
my strategy is to respond. But you have to take inspired action first. I heard somebody say this the other day. You have to take inspired action first. So you take action. And when you say, by doing that, you're saying to the world, this is what I want, then you're going to receive opportunities that you can then respond to. Then
Yes.
you get the invitation or whatever, and you can respond. You still have to take the action. You still have to show up.
Hmm.
It isn't like, oh, is it lighting me up right now? Thinking of that thing. It's like, when I'm doing it, is it lighting me up?
Hmm.
And then to if you know that you're meant to be doing that thing, just take inspired action, and then you'll get these opportunities to respond.
Yes.
What are your thoughts about
Yeah.
this?
The biggest thing I struggled with when I first started human design and discovered I was a manifesting generator, my strategy is partly to wait to respond is the actual language.
Mhm.
And so I thought that meant I just had to sit there and wait. But responding is about, well, everything you just said. It's about doing things, taking inspired action, doing things that light you up, and then you're able to respond to what comes in out of that.
Mhm.
I'm just repeating back to you what you
Yeah,
said,
no, this is
actually.
beautiful. No, different
Um,
words. I like this.
so it's, say, for example, you want to put out an offer So you have this inspiration to do it. So one way you would do it, and you do this actually. I don't know if you realize you do this, but you go out and you say, okay, I've got 3 ideas because you're really inspired. Which one do you think? And then as you get the responses, then you're responding to the responses.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I love that.
Right?
Something that, okay, I'm a very visual person. And so maybe a way of saying it for ourselves is like, get in the room. Get in the room, and then you'll have tons of opportunities to respond once you get in there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you showing up in your business, showing up in your relationships, or getting in the room. Just imagine yourself stepping in, and then that's where you respond, maybe.
Yeah.
So in your business, like you said, it's putting out the offer and then asking for feedback, or um and this is where I always say to my clients, this is where our nervous system and our beliefs really come into human design. Because if you're feeling dysregulated or you're not fully in your body, you're going to miss these cues. But another thing is that our fears can really creep up.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
as a generator, a tool that I use is like, if I get that, like, ooh, I want to do this, I announce it right away before my fears creep up. Because then I'm going to be like, well, I already announced it, I have to do it. And it allows and that's actually what's worked for me as a generator, is to just announce it, commit to it the minute. It's a deep honoring of that. It lights me up, and then I'll see if it works or not. And again, experimenting with that light up, and knowing and the awareness that comes with the fears and the doubts that may creep up after. Yeah, so that's been really helpful for me.
Yeah, I love what you just said, because basically responding is about um, doing the things like, okay, you can initiate from fear or urgency. Oh my God, I got to figure this out. And so if your offer is coming from a place of, I got to do this so that I get the money needs to come in and I'm scared, and that would be like initiating out of fear or urgency. Whereas what you described is you're doing what lights you up.
Can I say, like, a download that just came through with this? And it's like something that's just clicked as you said that. As a generator, especially with us talking about our sacral and our connection to the sacral, as a generator, I wonder, and this is me with my own experience, but I'm curious to know what you think about this. Um, I mean, our best ideas probably come when we're in our deep feminine, we're sitting in our sacral, which is probably your best ideas are going to come when you're not sitting down to plan them. It's probably when you're taking a shower and really relaxed, or you're like out with friends and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I just got this great idea. Those are probably the ideas we listen to rather than sitting down, okay, I need to figure out what I need to do for these next, this next quarter. Like, yes, there's still strategy behind that. Of course, your business is going to have strategy, but listening to those intuitive kind of sacral hits in the moment when you're doing something where your sacral is activated, I assume would be even more aligned.
Yeah, and I think what you're describing is that you're feeling safe in your body.
Yes,
which is like, I think that underlies everything, really.
Yeah, you can't.
You can't feel what lights you up if you're
if you're feeling the tension, you're not going to feel the light up, or and then for a generator, it feels like a little bit bigger for somebody else, and we'll go into that. It's not as obvious, so you really have to be in your body, and that's why we say there's there's a toolbox. Maybe this is a visual. I'm such a visual person. That's what I'm picturing now. A giant toolbox. Okay, in that toolbox, there are a bunch of other little toolboxes. Like the whatever, right? Like little. Is that what they're called? But yeah. So there's tons of little compartments or little toolboxes. Anyways, you cannot access that if you don't have a regulated nervous system. You cannot access that box.
No.
We need to be able to we need to be in our bodies, because when we don't feel safe in our body, we move into our head.
Right.
And logic will not necessarily get you to your goal. It will, I mean, it can get you to a goal, absolutely, sure. Through alignment, through flow, through, purpose. I'm going to argue that probably not, or it's going to be much, much harder. And there's going to be a ton of burnout within that. So, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't even, I just had this thought, like, does logic even apply when we're making decisions for ourselves? Because
Mm,
what even is it?
mhm.
What is logic?
Whew, that's a whole podcast. I think we should.
How many different ways can our minds come up with a solution?
Yeah.
How many times, like, okay, I'm going to logic my way to this, but then it's like this way, this way. It almost doesn't even matter. Like, you could pick anyone, whereas your body will tell you the one.
Beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Oof. Okay. Whew, generator. So we've talked about the manifestor generator.
Okay, so we'll go to manifesting
Let's
generator,
do it.
which is like another 34, 35%. Manifesting generators are, and
Mhm. I do know. I'll tell you why in a second. Go ahead.
multi-passioned, multi-talented. They're kind of a combination of generators and manifesting generators because they've got that defined sacral, so they're
Mhm.
meant to do it, lights them up, but they've also got that motor connected to the throat. So once, something lights them up, they can go right away like a manifester could. What that also means is they can pivot at any moment.
It's wild. It's wild. I can confirm I have two kids who are manifesting generators. I actually think my mom is a manifesting generator. I'd have to double check, but I think it is. She is. And my partner is a manifesting generator. So when you say that person can pivot and move quickly, it is wild. I will give you an example.
Yes, please.
Oh gosh, and I could go on about the story and do so many podcasts and trainings about how we actually got to this point because it required me to sit down within my feminine to allow him to really have the space to be on his own creative journey. So anyways, that's a podcast in itself. But um I within like 48 hours, he got the idea that I'm going to create another podcast and I'm going to create another business for musicians. Both ideas were brilliant. I had absolutely nothing to do with them. And I was like, yeah, these are great ideas. Within 48 hours, this man had created um, his whole VA business and like laid out the whole outline and then recorded like 5 podcast episodes. And I was like, pardon me, sir, I've been working on building my podcast for a while. And, thank God my assistant kind of got going for me. I mean, life is busier. I'm a busy mom, but still, he is really good at when he gets an inspired idea, he runs with it. Um, and then he pivots really quickly when it doesn't feel aligned anymore. He's just like, okay, all done with that. We're moving on to the next project. Can you speak more about kind of that process for a manifesting generator? Because I
Yeah,
love what you always say about it not being linear.
it's not linear. And I think that we're conditioned to think it has to be linear.
Mhm.
Like we're taught in school, okay, I think, you're 17, 16. It's like, okay, pick your courses because so you can know your career. And I used to beat myself up because I wanted to go from my actuarial science world to being a physiotherapist. And I thought that was wrong
Oh,
because I'd done all this schooling. Um, Being able to change your mind is how a manifester thrives because they tend to, like, they'll do something. I don't know if you notice this with your kids, they'll kind of master something pretty quickly.
mhm,
And it's something that it'll go back into the toolbox
mhm.
for later.
Oh, interesting.
And then they'll do the other thing. But whereas parents, sometimes we think, oh no, you got to stick with it so you can get the whole skills and they've gotten what they need from the thing. They put it in their pocket and then they go do the other thing.
I just got goosebumps. How powerful is a parent to know your kid's human design? Because, and I know we said this at the beginning, but like, oh my God. Because just what you said there, I'm like, oh yes, that's exactly what they do. And then they use it later, or they come back to it. I've
Yeah.
seen my kids say, I don't want to do that anymore. And then they've come back to it. And yeah, I love the way you just described that. That makes so much sense to me.
Yeah. So that's the nonlinear. And the other thing too about manifesting generators, and so I'm a manifesting generator, so I can speak from this. Oh my God. When I realized I was a manifesting generator, again, overnight, I was like, oh,
Everything makes sense.
in my corporate world, if there's some big solution that needs to be solved, I can literally see it.
Mm,
I can go to Z and, um, what that means is manifesting generators skip a lot of steps, and that's often looked at in a negative way.
Mm-hmm.
But the gift of that, and the gift that I realized that manifesting generators bring to the world, is we can find that, okay, sometimes we have to go back and fix things, fine. But we discovered that you don't need to do B, C, D, E, whatever. We can take out 20 of the steps and go from here to here. And that's the gift. It's not a bad
Beautiful.
thing.
Beautiful.
It's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
That is a good thing. And I think we're conditioned in school because you always have to show
Oh,
your steps, right? In university, which in a sense makes sense. We get it. But
yeah.
also, like, do you always have to do that? Like, do you really always have to have your students do that? Maybe that's an episode. Can we do an episode on school systems and human design? Because my goodness, as an educator, and again, I loved being a teacher. My favorite thing about being a teacher was allowing my kids to do it their own way. And I'm not saying I was a perfect teacher. Like,
Right.
where teaching is not an easy profession. So much respect for teachers. Like the
Oh my
the
God.
the you know hoops we have to go through just to fully allow our students to thrive in their own way.
Yeah.
It can be quite difficult, and there's just so much pressure for teachers. So sending so much love to all the teachers out there, because we see you. But it's the system. It's the system that doesn't allow for that. And it's too bad, because imagine a world where it did. Where, oh my God, for our kids, what a gift.
What a gift.
And yeah, okay, so how magical. So that's the manifesting generator.
Yeah, and I'll just say, like, in the context of a business, because I listened to, I don't remember who talking about this, and I was like, oh, that makes so much sense. If you were setting up a business, one thing you could consider, leave it flexible. Maybe, like, if you're like, oh, I want to help, this market doing this. And so rather than niching down in it necessarily, maybe just keep it open for your pivots, because maybe tomorrow you're going to want to do something else. And we have friends that we know do that. They have a marketing firm and they're a personal trainer, and they blend it all together in this beautiful way, because they leave themselves open for that.
I love that. Leaving more space in your business to play and to have all parts.
Yeah.
Wow. I absolutely love that. And I hope that that's helpful for business owners here that are manifesting generators. Okay. Again, we'll probably be doing a podcast specifically for that, building your business. Yeah. Okay. Let's go into, so we've done generators, manifestors, and we just did manifesting generators. Let's move on. I'm assuming we're going to projectors. We're working with so many projectors lately. And during our Unique Fam Summit, we had so many projectors that were participating. That was so cool. I thought it was really interesting that it was actually mostly projectors. There was actually only like a few manifesting generators and a few generators, I want to say. But a lot of projectors. I thought that was cool.
Yeah. 21% of the population or so are projectors. And projectors, we love our
projector. Our assistant, Alex, is a beautiful projector. And a projector she is, thank God.
She's so a projector.
Yeah. She solves a lot of our puzzles.
So projectors are the ones, generated, manifestors are creating, breaking boundaries, manifesting generators, we're doing our thing, we're lit up, and projectors are like watching it from up here, going like, okay, like, how can we make this better? Where can we make it more efficient? Maybe if we move this over here and this over here and we create this system, how can we direct this energy in the best way possible? And we've experienced it.
Absolutely.
I always feel like I know who's a projector, and I always want to ask them.
Excuse me.
Because I'm like, you got to be a projector.
Yeah.
Just their way of, like, being the visionary, being the one that can show us a better way, because they see what we don't.
Yeah.
And their aura, again, I'm going to put a little science in here. Their aura it's got this really unique penetrating quality to it. So a projector can, like, come in and, like, see at a much deeper energetic level.
Beautiful.
And
Cool.
so that's why we talk about the strategy for a projector being to be recognized and invited in to share their gifts.
Mm.
Because of that penetrating quality, they're meant to be seen, shine their light, be seen, and then energetically be invited or asked. I don't know if with um, Alex, like you must have probably saw something.
Absolutely.
So invited her.
Yes, I did.
Energetically too, because we didn't know she was a projector.
No, I did
This amazing insight.
there was just an energy about her,
Mhm.
and she would come to my movement workshops,
Mhm.
and she was, I mean, one, she was interested in everything that I was doing in terms of, you know, building Unique Femme before it was even fully created, and in terms of my movement facilitation. And there was just something about
Mhm.
her. There's
Yeah.
just something about, like, I know
Yeah.
that in some way we're going to stay connected, and there's going to
Mhm.
be something.
Mhm.
And when I thought, okay, I really need an assistant, I actually had posted and I had people apply, and I said it didn't feel right in my body. And these were incredible people. These were incredible people that applied to be my assistants. And then Alex kept popping up in my head, and I was like, she's the one that's gonna help us build this.
Mhm.
And so I asked her, and she goes, wow, I was literally thinking that, like, I would love to be involved in some way, but I invited her in.
Yeah. Yeah. Because she shone her light.
Yes.
You recognized in her what she had, whether it was conscious or not, you did.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
um,
And she does. She looks at the business and goes, "This is what's missing," and, like, these are, she's able to just do it so easily, and yeah, like you said, she's able to see kind of that big picture where I'm inside of it, just so excited.
well,
And
that's the thing,
yeah.
right? Like if we give an example of when the three of us meet, you and I are like, you're like, no, she just kind of has this way of like, she sits back
Yes.
and then we stop. And she just says this thing that's so profound.
I get excited again.
Can I just offer it?
Can I offer a suggestion? Why don't we just do this?
And then we're like,
Oh. Oh, it's so great. It's so great. And yeah, I work with a few projectors now in terms of clients. I have a few client projectors, and I mean, it's so clear when you've worked with a few projectors and a few, right? You start to see the pattern and, like, their gifts and how powerful they really are in their own unique ways.
Yeah.
And it's I just love it when they see that the way that they are is actually their gift.
Right. And their energy structure
Mm-hmm.
is designed to support that. So, and I think this is like the biggest thing to learn as a projector is that you are not meant to design to go, 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 because in order to have this wisdom, you need to be able to just step back and rest and cultivate your gifts and reflect and, and then once you've done that, you'll get a burst of energy to share it.
Yeah.
And then you flow back it's like my son. He gets a burst of energy to go out and play with his friends, comes back, rests. It's that like ebb and flow.
Yes, yes, and I can see that with our assistant as well. Like,
If
as
Celine
long as
is
we're
productive.
yeah, absolutely.
She said it.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, and even when we were together for the movement facilitation, are we all generators? We're all generators or manifesting generators, and she's a projector. And we were, yeah, again, so hyper, blah blah blah, and, like, getting excited about ideas. And she gets really excited, but there's just this calmness and this wisdom that also comes with it. And even again, she was able to put two pieces together in terms of our show, and it's really cool to sit back and watch it all play out. And it's really empowering to know. So okay, so we have our manifesting generators, projectors, and then there's one last one.
The reflector.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know that I've actually ever met a reflector. They're 1% of the population.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen them. I've seen them in action in podcasts, and you can see now that I know what a reflector, how their energy is built. It makes total sense.
If you're a reflector, can you connect with us, please? I'd love to have.
We could do a whole
Yeah, absolutely.
We should do a podcast with each of the types.
Yeah.
Okay.
chorus, just have a bunch, and we'll just all sit here and have a conversation with a bunch of generators.
Yeah.
Everybody would be so excited all
That
at the
would be
same
cool.
time. That's a lot of
Can you
energy.
imagine? Oh my God.
um,
Reflectors are the most energetically open.
hmm,
So in that chart, all of their energy centers are undefined, meaning there's no consistent access to energy in each of those centers. So they take on everything around them. So their aura is very like sampling. It's like, okay, I'm going to go in and sample this about this person, their energy, and they come back out and they sample over here and it's in and out. And then they just gain this wisdom from all of this.
I really wonder what a child
Oh my
reflector
God. Yeah.
would, what that would like look or feel like. What would you, I know we don't know, but do you have any kind of guess? Because maybe somebody's like, oh, wow, maybe that's their child. Like maybe they see that. And
Well, like reflectors are like the mirrors.
yeah.
It might be a child that's reflecting back everything to you.
Mm.
If you really take time to notice
Yeah.
that, I mean, our children all reflect back to us
Oh,
things,
yes, they do.
but reflectors take us back to like the core, our core.
Hmm. Hmm.
But I would think knowing if your child was a reflector, because reflectors are meant to like teaching your child how to honor that part of them that they are so open.
Hmm.
And also reflectors, their strategy is to wait a long time before doing anything.
Right.
Right? Because it's almost like it's a lunar cycle is what.
Hmm.
Because they're so impacted by the planets, they're so impacted by the people that they're around, another thing to consider as a parent, right? Um, that it's like they need to try it all on, like each of the different energies on until they get this like hit that this is what they need to do or not do. And environment is so important to a reflector, the environment that they're in.
Yeah. So as a parent, it would be
Hmm.
so important to know that.
Hmm.
And in terms of business, how does a reflector set up a business?
A reflector, I think the most important thing is setting up your business to allow for time.
Mm,
Allow yourself time to take in what, like, say again, you're offering something to people. Give yourself time to really reflect back and absorb what you're learning from what you've
yeah,
put out.
I love that.
And for, like, I mean, practically, you're not going to wait a lunar cycle to make decisions, but if there's any big decisions you need to make,
Hmm.
honoring that in your business and feeling okay to change your environment as you need,
Ooh, that's
right?
so powerful.
Like,
Even for like, I'm gonna go back to the kids for a second.
mhm,
It's just popped into my mind. So, even for kids, it's like you're asking them what activity they want to do in the fall. Like, ask them early, so and give them that time to think
that's
about it.
mm,
Like things like that, so that they have like they don't need a weekend to think about it. Like
right.
my manifesting generators,
Yep.
which I use by the way. I'm gonna give an example of that of how I use that the other day for my kids. But yeah, for them it'd be like when you're asking your kids questions of what they want to do, where they want to go, or what do you want to do for your birthday party? Don't ask them the month before the birthday party. Ask them a month before the time that they need to kind of give you
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
information, give them time to decide when you can, right? I think it's just like you said, you can't always apply these tools that you have, but when you have an awareness, you
Sure.
can you can use them and
Yeah.
leverage.
And with the birthday party example, take them to the bowling alley, see how they
Yes.
feel. Take them to the
Ah,
park, let them feel out all the different
let them sample.
sample.
I love that. Okay, I'm going to give an example of actually how I pulled in human design for my kids the other day because I was asking them if they wanted to go to a barbecue, and so my partner asked us if we wanted to go to a barbecue. It was that night, so I asked the kids, and they were both like, "Oh yeah, okay, yeah, maybe." They're like, "Yeah," and I was like, "How about think about it, and I'll come back in an hour and we'll decide." And so, because it wasn't like a no, and I was like, yeah, I think so. Like, I was like, okay, well, now let's come back in an hour, and then you can let me know. And then in that hour, they were both like, yeah, yeah, we definitely want to go. And we went and we had a great time.
Mhm.
Whereas, like before, I've been like, hey, do you guys want to go? Like, let's decide now. right when, we were making the decision. So it's manifesting generators, and they're both emotional. Well, they're both emotional. They're emotional authorities.
Yeah.
And I know that manifesting generators can also be sacral, right?
They can be sacral as well.
Yeah.
So that's actually, I'm glad you brought that up because um, with the manifesting generator, it is their, you put the thing in front of them, ask them whether they want to do it. So their sacral would sort of be telling them whether they have energy for it or not. But so then we get into how our body makes decisions. That's the next step after energy type.
We'll do that next episode, but we'll cover it right
But
here.
I love that you gave them because they have emotional authority. Um, for them, it is about giving them time to make the decision and decide if that's what they want to do. So the initial, like, yeah, their sacral's like, yeah, I might have energy for that. But then they kind of need to go through that emotional wave of, do I still want to do this
Mm-hmm.
2 hours from now?
Yeah,
Or,
exactly. And I think it's like also that's where everything is flexible. So even the way you use your human design, because like, did we have until the next day to decide? No. But I was like, okay, well, I'll just give you a little bit more time. What can I offer you?
Yeah.
I can offer you an extra hour.
I
But
love
then we have to decide. So it's making it fit again within your capacity, your life, your world.
And what you did in that moment, even if you honored them for who they are.
Yeah.
Even though you couldn't give them a day to decide, you honored the fact that, so you're saying to them, I understand that you need time to decide. So we've got 2 hours.
Yeah.
That's even just honoring even if you didn't have time, maybe you only had 10 minutes, even just saying to them, I understand it takes you time, but we got to go.
Yeah. We're leaving now. It does take them time.
Who they are.
Yeah. And I think, thank you for saying that. And I think that that's the power, again, of human design. And then you get to use it in whichever way works for you, your life, your circumstances, your capacity, whatever it is.
Right.
And even if it is like, okay, I only have 10 minutes, I'll give them 10 minutes. It's better than not doing that at all. And, so, and I'm kind of lucky that both of them are emotional authorities. So it does make it a little bit um, easier because I get to question them the same way. But how do you do that with several kids? That's a whole different discussion, but that you would have a lot of insight on, I'm sure. But maybe that's our next episode. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it's an experiment.
That's why it's an experiment. So use it all as an experiment.
Yeah.
Thank you. We've got so many more episodes to record, and we're so excited. But this was just kind of an overall, let's just say, like a general description of the 5 human design types, energy types, to get you started. Thank you. I love you so much, and we're so excited. You can find us at the Unique Femme on Instagram and at Unique Design by Unique Femme on Instagram. It's a long one. I'm also at coach.cynthia. If you want to find us, we love you so much. You can even book a human design reading with our beautiful Lisa. And if you ever have questions about our podcast, send us a message. We will get back to you. Or if there's something that you want us to talk about on the podcast, then send us a message. And finally, if you want to be on the podcast, you can also send us a message. We love you. Bye, everybody.